Junk food, treats, snacks. They've really changed a lot since the 70s and 80s, when some of them still had natural ingredients. Just none of these. That's right, we're talking about some of our favorite snacks that we loved on a Friday evening watching movies or when a friend spent the night. Those treats that lived in our pantry that we hit hard on a busy Saturday or the minute we got home from school. Yes, snacks have changed a lot, but here's some that you just can't have anymore. I'm Victor, and straight out of the GEN Xperience, those snack foods you just can't eat anymore. Not only because some are extinct, but because your body just can't process them like they used to. You know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I'm here to remind you of some favorites we won't be finding in your cupboard anytime soon. This tubo cheese is even more offensive than at first glance. The exit point of the dairy product is what makes this extinct snack food so obscene. Squeez-A-Snak was a mysterious processed cheese product in a short, tight cylinder wrapped in what resembled a sausage casing. Pop off the cap and then pierce it. That's right, pierce it right in the old dairy hole. Then simply squeeze. The applied pressure would produce a steady stream of what could be described as almost cheese. But squeeze too hard and it's more like an explosion after someone's had too much dairy. When done right, this fun snack will reward you with a winding snake of soft cheese-like substance piling onto your cracker. Sounds delicious. We thought so, especially on a Ritz or chicken in a biscuit. The Squeez-A-Snak might be long gone from this world, but similar products exist and make dispensing less disgusting, but only slightly. Hostess. They had their heyday, and we were along for the ride. We remember it well. A day didn't go by without a reminder of Fruit Pie the Magician, King Ding Dong, or Twinkie the Kid. Sounds more like an adult video. Hostess snacks were great for lunches and as a pick-me-up in the pantry when getting home from school. The brand has suffered in the 21st century, but managed to sell off its licenses to their products to other vendors and even companies. Alas, their mascot characters like the unfortunate named Happy Ho-Ho and Captain Cupcake didn't make the cut. Captain Cupcake. One character and his treat had already been cut from the roster by this time, Chocodiles. Chauncey and his treat had barely made it out of the 80s, but he's remembered for being a chocolate-coated sponge cake with cream filling. Basically, a Twinkie and robed in fudge. Hostess reduced the production to a limited West Coast only at that time, but Chauncey didn't even make it that far. Chocodiles may no longer be available, but the currently available chocolate-encased Twinkies have you and them covered. Koogle. I can't say that without a giggle. Koogle. I know you're thinking the same thing, but no, this isn't an exercise. It's a spread. Some sort of chocolate peanut butter spread, and it was long loved by millions. I know I would have eaten this stuff up by the jarful if only my mom had splurged. It lasted almost the entire decade of the 70s and included flavors like chocolate, peanut butter, banana, and cinnamon. I like cinnamon bears as much as the next guy, but I just have to wonder what this would have been like. Anyone know? A unique flavor spread to be sure, but maybe it was no different than cinnamon sugar toast. If it were, I will never know, as it was either the unnatural texture and consistency or the arrival of Nutella in the early 80s that kicked Koogle to the curb.
You love Koogle, the crappy nutty surprise.
Hostess wasn't the only pastry snack in town, and some will argue that Dolly Madison may have had them beat. But in reality, it's the same freaking company. Hostess just used other bakeries and made other snacks under the Dolly Madison name, but they also used the popular Charles Schulz Peanuts gang in advertising. How many of you remember their commercials during any Charlie Brown special?
It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown is sponsored by Dolly Madison, bakers of all kinds of neat-to-eat treats, and by your neighborhood McDonald's.
We were a Hostess family, so as much as that marketing had me hoping for a zinger, if I got a big wheel, I was set. Dolly Madison did seem to have a run on variety of snack cakes available though, especially with crazy names like Cuckoos and Razzies, but none more insane than Googles. What kind of wacky name is Googles, am I right? No wonder it's extinct.
You blockhead.
When you have zingers around, there's no escaping the zinger zapper.
To be fair, Dolly Madison went out of business in 2012 when Hostess liquefied, and with it, a lot of people's favorite treats. Sometimes, you just wanted to snack on a cookie, and the king of cookies were Keebler. The Keebler elves worked overtime in that tree. It seemed like every other week they debuted a new sweet snack, often just mixing the ingredients up from one cookie to make a new one with a different look and style and name. I wasn't a fan of Keebler, so to all you elf lovers, sorry. But I just thought their regular cookies were not only too soft, but had a chemical taste. Then again, what didn't during the 80s? Here we were with magic middles, and no kid could resist the sweet gooey goodness squishing around your mouth when biting into these little shortbread wonders. Simple and unassuming looking, these snacks were a mess. Maybe it was the leaky, sticky goo on everything that contributed to their downfall. But nothing keeps a good elf down, and only recently magic middles have been re-released. Individually wrapped to keep the sticky sweet from getting all over the place, thank God. I guess you can still eat these. But should you? Will your tummy take it? Tell us in the comments if you're running out to snag a bag. Kool-Aid's redheaded stepchild, the funny-faced brand of sweetened soft drinks, fit perfectly into the 70s world, but not much longer than that. Both Funny Face and Kool-Aid were options, but it was all about the budget, and even a few cents could add up back then. Although something about Kool-Aid Man really resonates with me. Perhaps it was his penchant for destruction.
Hey, Kool-Aid!
I don't know, but I was a sucker for fun mascots and anthropomorphic fruit shapes. Even Indian Orange and Chinese Cherry, with their stereotypical caricatures, were bright and colorful ways to excite a young kid who the marketing was directly targeting. This artificially sweetened powder effectively made a fun treat for a low price and gave us the energy to release playing outside all summer long. Funny Face is fun to drink, said this off-brand competitor to Kool-Aid. Even with some name changes, the brand faded to limited supplies and availability until it completely vanished as a national offering in 1994. Now this is a crime, an injustice to young and old alike, and it makes no sense. Was it the sudden surge of peanut butter allergies or the ridiculous demands by schools on kids' lunches that saw the Bopper go bust? These creamy peanut butter sticks could keep me sustained for life. Unfortunately, I'd go through them like there was no tomorrow. Each sealed in foil for freshness, the treat is described only as a creamy peanut butter center wrapped in crunchy things. What things? It doesn't say, but did it matter? Not really. It looks like anything from Rice Krispies to nuts, and that works for me. Oh, and there wasn't just one flavor. Oh no, there was Honey Crisp, Fudge Chip, and Cookie Crunch. Now you're getting hungry, aren't you? How did these last only 4 years? To quote a certain Tootsie Pop commercial,
"The world may never know."
the whole fruit snack thing can get convoluted. We knew them simply as fruit roll-ups, but we also recognized the name Fruit Corners. This branding, although a branch of General Mills, meant all things fruit snack to any kid of the GEN Xperience. Even though there had been some successful fruit leather, Fruit Corners cornered the market on this treat category. It made fruit leather fun, and selling to parents as a healthy alternative to other snacks, Fruit Corners made themselves the top of the heap. Pasting pictures of real fruit on the box, along with touting the healthy snack choice, Fruit Roll-Ups used all the shyster marketing of the era to get your consumer dollar, when there wasn't an ounce of natural flavors to be found within. Well, maybe an ounce. The strawberry flavored ones had real fruit at least. Yup, concentrated pear juice. Pear juice in the strawberry. And lawsuits ensued. Well, Fruit Corners would also make the popular Fruit Wrinkles, wrinkly little raisin snacks that were just as good as gummies but healthy, so it's said. They were as good as gummies because that's basically what they were. Now the confusing part is that Sunkist, yes, that Sunkist, also debuted Fun Fruits and Sunkist Rolls. Different names, same thing. Not sure if any of you were brand snobs, but you just have to look close at the package as they were barely discernible. Today, fruit roll-ups are still sold, but Betty Crocker has the license and there are no more corners. There's also no more fruit on the cover or false advertising. Well, not as much. As for Sunkist, they've outsourced what they simply now call fruit snacks to other companies. They should have just stuck to soda. Now, when speaking of roll-ups, I can't fail to mention these beauties. So bad they only lasted 1 year, 1987. With pudding snacks on the rise, Betty Crocker debuted pudding roll-ups. There is rumor that they even tried this in the 70s, but nothing concrete confirms it. Even still, with the bright 80s optimism and decade of excessive advertising behind it, the roll-ups, packaged like their fruit cousins, rolled onto cellophane so not to stick to itself. Pudding roll-ups just didn't have the staying power and couldn't match the success of their pudding snack cup brethren. Pudding snack cups are still popular today and have come in a variety of shapes and sizes from various companies and in plastic and clear containers. But one thing that's gone the way of the dodo and you can't eat anymore was the fudge pudding snacks in the single-serve aluminum can. Never needs refrigeration. Right there is what should have given us pause. But before the convenience and nasty little nuisance plastic, our food was served in war-ready bomb shelter packaging that could last a nuclear winter. If I didn't know better, I'd confuse these guys for Sterno. I bet they're flammable too. Good thing for no more tin can. Oh, and if you haven't had enough pudding, remember these Hostess highlights? Those who may have once salivated for pudding pies sadly cannot eat them anymore either. Pudding pies, which just look nasty, were discontinued in the 90s. I can't say I miss them, but if you need a pudding fix, Jell-O will always have your back. For some of you who had the earliest GEN Xperience, you might remember Space Food Sticks. 14 individually wrapped, nutritionally balanced, non-frozen energy snack rods. You heard me, rods. Pillsbury was capitalizing off the manned space missions when they were first introduced in the very late 60s. If you remember having a space stick, tell us which was your favorite. Peanut butter, caramel, chocolate, or one of the other three. Pillsbury eventually tired of the Space Cadet theme and rebranded by the late 70s to simply call them Food Sticks, which was probably the most realistic future name they could pick, giving us that full 70s disaster sci-fi vibe with a simple name that conjures up images of Soylent Green and a future where food sticks are our only sustenance. Just as long as they didn't have that one special ingredient.
It's people. Soylent Green is made out of people.
Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them Soylent Green is people!
But now what do you have to wash all this sugary, carb-heavy sweet snacks down with? Running in after school or needing that Saturday break, you might open the fridge and reach for a tab. After pulling the pull tab, you could have one of the earliest diet sodas designed to cut back on the caloric intake from all those treats. Sadly, Coca-Cola's first attempt at a zero-calorie soda would be mired in public panic over saccharin, the sweetener in said soda. Warning labels were even placed on the product once it was found lab rats had gotten bladder cancer. Although the decision was revoked soon after when no proof was found in humans, the damage was done. But by that time, Coke had already created its gift to the world, Diet Coke, the absolute ultimate in soda experience. Well, that's one guy's opinion. With that, Tab would have to sit on the sidelines, hard to find, rumored to even have passed away, only to quietly be discontinued in 2020 with no fanfare. You could always reach for and mix a pitcher of Tang. That was an alternative, and still available today. But should it? We didn't even scratch the surface of chips and crackers, but that was by design. I wanted first to whet your appetite with those snacks on the run, making you hungry for more before I hit the big bags of salty goodness the next time. If you found this delicious, leave a like and subscribe, and check out other great content here on the channel. I know you'll love more from the generation that gave us everything worth talking about still, the GEN Xperience. Thanks for sticking around, and until next time.